We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Our guest is Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall, taking your calls, 737-7587. If you want to jump in, he's with us until 9. And we'll go next up is Paul. Paul, good morning. Hi, Paul.
Hey, good morning, man. How y'all doing?
Hey, Paul.
Hey, somewhere Sheriff Buford Pusser has got a big smile on his face. I'd just like to say congratulations, Sheriff. Lord have mercy, dude. I've been calling Nick Barris's show here for years and years and years, and I have. And I have told Nick Barris for years and years and years that Sheriff Daron Hall is not only one of the best elective representatives in the state of Tennessee, but he is one of the best in the country. I have said that for years, and guess what? My words rang true. Sheriff, I'm certainly proud of you. Lord have mercy, I seen on the ACA page, I'm a member of it, where they congratulated you, and I wanted to get on here and congratulate you too. One thing to you, Nick, about all that mass movement of inmates, it ain't so much as the mass movement of the inmates as all that gum aggravating property that you got to deal with. Sheriff knows about that. Lord, that can be a headache doing that process and all that. But I want to say this, and also, Nick, on your lead-in this morning, you said that he wanted to be called Mr. President, not necessarily the President of the United States. Well, I would certainly rather have him than the one we got. I'll just say this. And the final thing is, Sheriff, I just went through the TDOC Academy about 3 weeks ago for a 40-hour training with a few of your deputies. They teaching us about mentally ill inmates and stuff and how to deal with it. And I went through the academy with 40 hours with some of your deputies, and they sure fine people, professional people too. Right. Anyway, that's my comment. Oh, and one other thing, I told you, Sheriff, I got the slogan: Daron Hall is the mayor for all. I'm ready to roll whenever you are, big buddy. Y'all take care. God bless you.
Paul, he's good.
I like his logo. That's good.
I like him. Well, Paul, I appreciate everything. You said something in the middle of that I need to point out. I mean, we got the best staff there is in the country, and I'm just, that's the way I feel about it. And they literally, I said this up in Louisville, but they're the reason you get to do this thing. And he was with deputies in training. We're teaching a CIT program in mental health. Our management team, we've just got a fantastic group of people, and it's the thing I'm most proud of. I really, the other stuff, I get more credit of all that than I ever deserve, and the people who are there are unmatched. I mean, right now as we sit here, the president of the National Sheriff's Association is in Nashville. In the next several months, and these are hard to do, the president of the American Jail Association, which is a large function all over the country, works for us in the sheriff's office.
Oh, okay.
The vice president, the number 2 person in ACA, American Correctional Association, that he mentioned, is our chief of corrections in the sheriff's office. So the 3 largest associations in the country, everybody works. And I said up there, we have an opportunity to really get some things done as associations. And that doesn't just happen. These people are respected all over the world in what we do, and they've made their own path, and couldn't be more proud of them. And there are men and women over there working right now, so I can be here at 2 in the morning when we're sleeping. They're doing their job, and I just I coach an all-star team and just get to ride the bus around. It's amazing.
Awesome. Well, and you're right, and it does start at the top, I think, and comes down. But yeah, it's and this is it's a big job, and the way city's growing, and some of the things that come with it in the jail. But I can't wait till that opens too. Yeah. It's looking awesome. Let's go to Toy. Toy, good morning. Hi, Toy.
Hello.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was just wanting to ask you about. There's been such an influence of dash cams and stuff on people's personal cars, and not saying nothing about Nashville, but I mean just as far as the whole country is concerned. You see on YouTube all the time sheriff's deputies and regular policemen just busting people's windows out, dragging them out of the cars and stuff, and it seems like there will be like whenever you went through your academy training or whatever you had to go through to become an officer, sheriff or police officer, a deputy or officer, that there would be a little bit of constitutional law and maybe 3 or 4 hour refresher course every year, and that way whenever people was acting silly out there and breaking out people's windows for no reason at all, that they would be liable for whatever damages, instead of getting sued by the sheriff's department gets sued, or the police department gets sued. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what cameras do you guys have?
Yeah, we have right now. They're mounted in our vehicles only,
okay.
but
only not the bike, because Metro doesn't even have them on all their officers.
And the whole camera conversation is so far really Nashville's moving in one large direction to put body cameras, but. I think the caller's got some points. The bottom line is this: I mean, most police officers, deputies in the country, most law enforcement people don't mind wearing cameras. I mean, that's kind of a perception problem. It is more work and headache and all that, which I agree with that. It's a lot of work to manage all that, but most people, quite frankly, want you, the public, to understand how difficult the job is, and it is difficult in the way that they go about it. It's perceived that everybody wants to hide what they're doing, and so I think as time goes on, I believe most people in the country can find a balance in that and understand, look, we need cameras for reasons. Right now, you can't hardly do anything in this town that is not videoed. I've told many of people the last 2 controversial shootings in Nashville, very controversial shootings, both of those are videoed. I mean, they weren't body cam, but I promise you the body camera is not going to be much better than what you see, in the sense of, you can imagine the running of someone and all that. You're not going to have the perfect pictures of these events. And so I think the purpose of having confidence in the community with cameras on everyone, that may be worth it. It's expensive to do it. I'm not convinced that it's going to change a whole lot, but it's worth it if the community feels that their minds are more at ease with knowing what really happens, and we'll see as we go.
Yeah, and from his perspective, just journalistically, because we cover these and report on them, I know what he sees on the news sometimes of the cases where there is an officer that maybe, has overstepped bounds and is caught doing it. That's the exception to the rule, but it does happen, and it makes the news story, and your officers are trained on what's right and what's wrong. I would make the argument, and I'm guessing you might agree with it, that the cameras are there not just to catch officers when they do something wrong, but they can be there also to confirm that they did everything right. I've seen plenty of video where there have been claims been made by individuals that, oh, he did this or she did that, and then you look at the video and you're like, this guy's lying. In the video, thank goodness the officer had his body cam on. I'm not talking about locally, but some national cases where it cleared the officer of any wrongdoing because it was all there. So I think it goes both ways.
It does. And Nick, I mean, let's be honest, whether it's journalism, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's, I'm not sure what Toy does for a living, but you take a percentage, there's a percentage of every person or every job where you're going to have people who don't do what they're supposed to do, and to expect perfection out of law enforcement or judges or media or sheriffs, to be honest, is unrealistic. I don't care what line of work you're in. And so what I don't like is that we taint the entire pool. If tonight a preacher gets in trouble, I suspect you'll still go to church. At your church you'll still believe in what you believe if that's your way of life. For some reason we need that to get with law enforcement. When we have a bad person in law enforcement, I think we should all want that exposed. Personally, I don't want to ever be viewed as protecting anybody who's not doing their job. But they deserve also to have made mistakes, screw-ups, and move on if that's their life. But I think what's happened over the years is it's become very difficult to prove that 90+%, whatever the number is, are doing their job. Cameras will do that, because you know this well. You get complaints that when you look into it, whether it's law enforcement or inmates in custody, when you dig into it, oftentimes, or some of those times, it's totally false. And we hadn't had a way to prove it. So maybe as we go, that's some things that can balance back out. And one of these days, you'll see pressure. We're not there yet, but to put cameras on every officer in the jail. They're doing that in California and some places. Very expensive, but again, that'll be the next conversation. We'll have to figure out where we go.
All right, let's go next to, I think we got Evan. Good morning, Evan. Hi, Evan.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Sheriff Hall, I am very thankful and have so enjoyed being a volunteer in one of your programs that operates through the Sheriff's Office. It's called the Academy, and it's a multifaceted educational program that serves incarcerated women. I have had the opportunity to kind of see behind the curtain and have been so affected by your team and the example that you're leading. And my question is, how do we as members of the public show support for the mission that you are kind of leading the charge in and following your example?
Wow. You know what? You just did that, really. I mean, I think the people who are inside that you're working with, if you would just pat them on the back. I mean, it's a they don't make enough money. They don't get enough credit. They don't. And I tell people all the time. I mean, we can't do enough to show the appreciation for people who are doing this kind of work. And so you've just put gas in my tank, but I'm not the one that matters. I mean, I really want the people who are doing really, really good work every day trying to help people turn their lives around to get their credit. And it's a hard thing to do. It's hard in the political climate because it's sometimes easier for people to think, locking people up is working when it's not. So just, I mean, your work in the Academy program, one of the things that is going to happen as the construction all settles back down is the female population will move back over into our facilities. They're now at the Core Civic facility because we had to move everybody to make room. And that gives us some opportunities because of our own control of our buildings to do some really good programming. Really excited. We do some really good things with some animal rescue programs. We do some awesome things with songwriters coming in and working with the population. And everything from education to cosmetology. And I've told people all over the country, and I've said everywhere I go, I have never said no to a person who said, I have an idea about bringing something in the facilities. And some of those are pretty crazy, outlandish ideas, but I don't believe I have the filter that knows what'll work or not. Some people can be touched or reached by animal programming. Some could be songwriters. Some could be education-based. So we just don't say no, and if people are willing to come and help us get it done, we're going to try it. And our staff deserve to be patted on the back. So Aaron, I appreciate you calling.
Very cool. Nice for her to call. Listen, let's take a break. When we come back, our final segment with the Sheriff, Daron Hall, Vicki, and others. We'll get to your calls and see what he has to say right after this. Stay with us.